Hello and welcome, my dear students. We are in for yet another new chapter. Today we shall learn about Japan and Brazil through a traveler's eye, written by George Mikesh. Let us know about the author. George Mikesh was born in the year 1912 and breathed his last in 1987. He was an artist, author, publisher, illustrator, and journalist from Hungary. He happens to be a multifaceted personality. He studied law and received his doctorate at Budapest University. The excerpts that are chosen in this particular text, Japan and Brazil through Traveler's Eye, are chosen from two of his prominent books, that is, The Rising of the Yen and How to Tango. His well-known works are as follows: The Hungarian Revolution, Über alles, How to be inimitable, How to scrape skies, and How to be an alien. There's a pre-reading activity which is as follows. What are those Indian behavioral patterns or gestures that appear strange to foreigners, those who visit India from foreign countries? These are the behavioral patterns or the gestures that appear strange to them. We have varied greeting gestures beginning from namaste to namaskara to vanakkam to sat sri akal, various others. So these greeting gestures, as against their hello or hola, they find these greeting gestures quite strange. Next up, they are used to chopsticks and forks and spoons. They find this Indian behavior quite strange, that is, using hands to dig into scrumptious meals. Next up, this is quite funny. You might have witnessed people wearing formals and saris at the beach. Even the foreigners find it strange. Taking blessings from the elders by touching their feet is what they find strange. And using toilet the Indian way is what they feel strange. And finally, Amitabh Bachchan's gesture in all of his movies, that is cooling tea or coffee in a saucer, is what they feel quite indifferent. So these are the behavioral patterns or gestures that the foreigners find it strange or queer. Keeping this in mind, let us understand the text in depth. Before that, the text is a different genre, that is a travelogue. What is a travelogue? Travelogue is penning of one's experiences of traveling and visiting alien places. When a person visits an alien place, if at all he pens down his experiences, that is called a travelogue. The genre dates back to the 2nd century, though seems to be new, but it dates back to 2nd century. With the new techniques of navigation, travelogues became quite popular in the in the 9th and 10th century. Trips started getting royal patronage, that is, kings and queens started funding the trips of these writers who wrote travelogues. Thus, travel writings gained political overtones. In the past 50 years, travel writing has become a part of university courses that began as a passion for writing has come down to a more serious study in university as one of the courses. The travelogue has traveled quite far. Travel writings are now a telling comment on how a culture gets represented and comparatively studied. How two cultures are compared and represented. This happens quite often in travel writings. So this is all about travelogue. I hope you have understood its meaning and its backdrop. Moving further to the excerpts, let us get to know about these in brief. Cultures of two countries have been discussed by Mikesh. A note on Japanese manners like respecting privacy, bowing, and eating soup has been discussed. So one of the countries is Japan. The next is Brazil. A note on Brazilians' laid-back attitude and traffic etiquettes. To put it forth, traffic ill-manneredness is what has been discussed of Brazilians in one of these excerpts. Mikesh adopts satirical style of writing. Please mind you that he adopts satirical style of writing while representing the cultures of two countries. Why does he do that? That is because he wants us to understand when it comes to gestures and mannerisms, it's easy to accommodate a particular culture or gesture or manner, but it is very important for us to keep in mind that when it comes to test of time, do we stand the same as far as compassion and kindness is concerned? So this is his motive behind writing these two excerpts and presenting it before us. First up is Japanese manners, and the subheading is respecting privacy. Japanese are known for respecting privacy. In spite of being an overcrowded island, Japanese choose to respect one another's privacy. It is very difficult in Japan, which is an overcrowded island, to maintain privacy, but they choose to respect privacy. That is why they are meticulously well mannered as far as respecting privacy is concerned. They conduct confidential business transactions and intimate love quarrels in public, yet in perfect privacy. Any passerby could overhear, but no one does. So this is the courtesy that they have adopted. This is their manners that they have adopted. That is, even though they overhear something, they give complete privacy whenever they overhear on the phone. A man's telephone receiver is his castle. Here, telephone receiver is metaphorically compared to castle. What is castle? Well, castle is a place where king used to reside in ages ago. King used to reside there, and he used to conduct confidential and private meetings before waging a war on his enemies. So, most confidential conversations could be conducted on a telephone receiver, is what it means here. Continuing with Japanese manners, next up is mania for bowing. Bowing is a ceremonious gesture. Ceremonious gesture is nothing but a gesture with meticulous rules and regulations. So, a ceremonious gesture, yet with a great deal of natural and inimitable grace. One finds it quite natural gesture, but it is very difficult to imitate. So, it is inimitable gesture that they do quite gracefully. It is quainter, that is strange. It is oriental, that is inclined towards far east. It is formal and very infectious. People who are alien towards this particular bowing manner find it, they find it strange. They find it quite formal, but they also find it quite infectious. Those who look at it feel like they have to imitate this particular gesture, but it is quite difficult as it is inimitable. Bowing seems easy, but it is too complicated because there is smallest of difference as far as bowing is concerned in terms of rank, age, social position, that is subtly reflected in an individual's bow. So, one person's bow is quite different, subtly different from the other's bow, that differs in terms of rank, age, social position. Continuing with bowing, bowing is patriarchal. Mikesh portrays how bowing is patriarchal through his lines here, which are as follows. Wife bows to her husband, child bows to his father, younger brother to elder brothers, and very importantly, sister bows to all the brothers of whatever age, younger or elder. Sister bows to each and everybody at home. That seems to tell us that it is a patriarchal mannerism. Bowing is habitual, one can say so, because Mikesh notices here, babies are carried on the mother's back in saddles. When the mother bows, the baby too bows. So, this bowing manner is inherited in babies in Japanese quite in a very young age, that when they are carried on their mother's backs. So, it is quite a manner which is inherited in the Japanese from quite a very young age. Bowing as a social norm. Bowing girls are employed to bow deeply and deferentially, respectfully to everybody. So, it is equivalent to people who are employed in various places to open the doors and salute. The same way here, the Japanese girls are employed to bow at people deferentially, respectfully. Mikesh also notices that in trains that run between Tokyo and Osaka, the conductors bow in both the directions and then start checking the ticket. That means that it is a social norm, not only in private places, but also in public places. One can see bowing as a manner carried out by Japanese. Bowing is genetic. Mikesh claims that not only people, that is Japanese, but also the deer in Japan could be seen bowing. So it's not only genetic among people, but also among the animals there. He notices deer bowing. Mikesh met a deer in Nara who bowed at him before snatching the food bag from him. That means it is so imitable that people try to imitate, not only people but also animals in Japan imitate it in such a fashion that they carry this gesture quite gracefully. Bowing is superficial. It is superficial because it doesn't stand the test of time. People are carrying this particular gesture quite ceremoniously, but when it comes to the test of time, they fail to stand by they fail to represent the same compassion, courtesy and kindness when the real test of time comes. Such a scene happened there. At the bus stops, people bow to each other ceremoniously, but the bowing gentlemen are transformed into savages, pushing and shoving their elbows into each other as soon as the bus arrives. So, the same gentlemen who are known for ceremonious bowing are transformed into savages as soon as the bus arrives. So, this is an example that he provides as far as bowing being superficial is concerned. And finally, after bowing, eating soup is one of the mannerisms that Japanese are known for. In Japanese culture, one must make a fearful noise while eating soup because it is considered, this fearful noise is considered as a sign of appreciation. If one doesn't make the noise, he is considered an ill-mannered lout. He is considered as a stupid person who doesn't know his or her culture. But there is a hitch to it. If a European makes the noise, his upbringing is questioned, which clearly states that this is limited only to the Japanese. This particular mannerism is limited only to the people of Japan. With this, we come to the end of the first excerpt, and let us get to know what is installed as far as the second excerpt is concerned, that is traffic in Brazil. As far as the mannerisms of Japan is concerned, it is dealt with. Traffic in Brazil is what the second excerpt is all about, in which Brazilians' attitude towards life is portrayed. It is said that nobody hurries in Brazil. They in fact decorate the grave pavements with black, beautiful mosaics. In most of the countries, we notice that people lack pavements to walk on. But here in Brazil, people are having such an attitude towards life that they decorate the pavements. They have inclination towards art and aesthetics that they decorate the pavements they walk on. It shows the people's inclination towards contemplation during their meditative and ambulatory exercise. What is ambulatory exercise? Nothing but walking or jogging. So whenever they conduct these exercises, that is walking or jogging or running is concerned on these pavements, they contemplate, they in fact think and contemplate their lifestyle while walking on these pavements. Only people alive to beauty would take the trouble to decorate the pavements they walk on. So Brazilians' laid back attitude is what is mentioned here through this instance of decorating the pavements with black beautiful mosaics. As far as their traffic etiquettes is concerned, it is satirically presented here by Mikesh. The same people, the same Brazilians who had laid back attitude towards life, their life, transform themselves as far as their traffic etiquettes are concerned. As soon as they have a steering wheel in their hands, no speed is fast enough for them. So they are known for their rash and fast driving. In spite of heavy import duties, the number of vehicles is growing by leaps and bounds. So in Brazil, the import duties on vehicles are quite heavy, but still people do not stop buying the vehicles because they have inclination towards faster driving, and they're quite adventurous as far as this particular driving is concerned. This makes the pedestrian's life more hazardous every day. So as far as driving is concerned is fine, but rash driving leads to some complications. So one of those being the pedestrian's life putting it in danger. Brazilians drive fast, very fast. They in fact regard the pedestrians as a fair game. A fair game is nothing but a target. So they regard the pedestrians, the passerby, as their target. The pedestrian has to jump, leap, and run for dear life. But one thing can be noticed here. One unique thing can be noticed, that the relationship between driver and pedestrian is of hunter and prey, yet they share an amicable relationship. Even though they share a hunter and a prey relationship, still they share quite a friendly relationship. If one misses, the other says, we can have the same game continued on the next day. So such an attitude is what they carry there as far as traffic is concerned. Continuing with their traffic etiquettes, as far as pedestrians and drivers are concerned, they share quite an amicable relationship. As far as the drivers themselves is concerned, the war between drivers is murderous, but a good-tempered one. They force the other to brake violently and commit the most heinous crimes of the road day in, day out. Yet, there is no anger, no hostility, and no mad hooting that can be seen in other places. Here, even though people drive rashly and they cut from both the sides, they brake violently, they commit heinous crimes, yet they share amicable relationship. Traffic, a menace at Avenida Presidente Vargas. It is the worst place of all in terms of traffic in Brazil. So it's the most, it's the busiest place that can be seen as far as traffic is concerned in Brazil. Though there is heavy traffic, Still, they seem to be proceeding at a terrifying speed. Though there's a lot of traffic, but still the drivers do not fail to drive fast. It is impossible for a pedestrian to cross the road because of heavy traffic and busy traffic here. Mikesh gives us an instance, a humorous instance that takes place amidst this heavy traffic that he notices, where two people were standing on the either side of the road trying to strike a conversation amidst all the noise, the chaos that is taking place. One asks the other, how did he manage to reach the other side of the road amidst such busy traffic? To which the other person replied that he was born there. This suggests how difficult it is to cross a road in Brazil. So Mikesh gives us this humorous instance to suggest how busy the traffic is and how drivers drive there in Brazil. So this is all about Japan and Brazil, their mannerisms, their etiquettes. So with this, we come to the end of yet another chapter. I hope you have understood this particular chapter. Have a wonderful day. Please go through this video once or twice to understand the chapter in a better way. Have a good day, guys. Thank you. Stay safe.